Good night, Juventini of the world. My name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. If you saw me in the intro using the Turkish lucky charm, if you heard me saying Günaydin instead of Ciao Juventini, it's because there is a simple reason. Guys, Turkey is the best country of the world, or at least Galatasaray is probably one of the best clubs in the world, for the reason that since yesterday there are apparently a lot of interest from Galatasaray for Juve players, and we are not speaking about Dusan Vlahovic, Federico Chiesa, Gleison Bremer, the players that we want to keep at Juve, but probably the players that are not part of the project. We are speaking about Arthur, we are speaking about Weston McKennie, but also about Moiskin, probably, maybe, and even Alexandro. I don't know what is real. I don't know how many of these players potentially could go to Turkish Liga, to Galatasaray, to the yellow and red, but ragazzi, if something is happening, I believe that we really have to say thank you to Galatasaray. Anyway, we'll speak about the interest of Galatasaray for our Juve players and what about the possibilities. We'll speak about Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, but also Leonardo Bonucci that is probably opening to a goodbye to Juventus. Adrien Rabiot. We'll speak also about Galatasaray players, Icardi, Zaniolo, a lot of Mercato talk, and also giving you an update about Giuntoli. As always, maximum of likes, and we are starting really to have that habit of minimum 500 likes per video. If we can reach them consistently, then of course we will raise the bar. We'll try to go to 600. Why? Because we are competitors and we want to win on the channel. After that, subscribe to the channel if you didn't yet. We start not with the news about Turkey, but with another one, something really curious yesterday that is giving us a clue of what can happen at the 1st of July, because Corriere dello Sport is speaking about Juve, and we will come back on that, but also about Rudy Garcia, that yesterday was officially presented in a press conference with Aurelio De Laurentiis before the journalists and people of Napoli. Mi fido di Aurelio. I trust Aurelio. He is an ambitious man, and he will give me the best possible teams. The words of Rudy Garcia. Everything okay, everything normal until there, even if Aurelio De Laurentiis was speaking again and as usual with a big ego. But the curiosity is that yesterday there was absolutely no sign of Giuntoli. He was not there. We already told you, especially yesterday during the live, that Giuntoli was like you, like me, and like the entire world informed about Rudy Garcia through Twitter. Well, yesterday he was not there. Where is he? Is he on holiday? What about Giuntoli? Where is he going? Is he leaving Napoli? We don't know. Officially, we don't know. But isn't it curious that they are presenting a coach with Aurelio De Laurentiis, but also with the one that was part of the team of Giuntoli that is now taking care at interim of the Mercato of Napoli, and they didn't speak about Giuntoli. Nobody, with all the journalists, and I can guarantee you that the journalists from Napoli, they are really not silent. They really love to speak. They really love to ask difficult questions. None of them, nobody asked about Giuntoli. He was never mentioned in yesterday's press conference, which could be potentially a good one for a simple reason. Giuntoli is not part of the project Napoli anymore, and all the confirmation that we heard about the journalists that whatever happens, Giuntoli will be the chief of sport of Juventus from this season or next season are finding real confirmation. Anyway, let's speak about the other things. Yesterday it was official. Agnelli Andrea will go to TAR, the Regional Administrative Court. What is it? We know it. We have the sportive one, and then we have the Regional Administrative one. If you are someone that is not representing the club, but yourself as a person, you can go to TAR without any problem. Let's see what will happen there, but one thing is sure, Andrea Agnelli is not giving up. Fino alla fine, as he loved to say, because that's one of his favorite quotes. We have to speak about youth. We have to speak about Juventus, as a lot of people are saying, mid-table team, a Finnish club, past club, vintage club, a team that will never come back anymore. Well, I don't agree with that for a simple reason. This morning, Corriere dello Sport was speaking about a big title. They were saying 200 million from the youth. What are they speaking? That treasure that Juventus has. Well, with all the investment made in the youth sector, in the development in the youth, well, we have kind of a value of 200 million for Juventus. Of course, these 200 million, we will not sell all the youth project tomorrow, but it's an important resource for the present and for the future. In terms of present, player that can play immediately with the first team, and we already started really seriously seeing them in 22-23, but also can also be on the market and bring you fresh cash money that is important. And that's why with all the investment, with an hotel, with a training center, with their own stadium, with everything, Juventus can't collapse, because Juventus is a solid club. That is in a difficulty, yes, but is a solid club. Anyway, we have to speak about a lot of things. So Tutto Sport is opening with Bonucci e Juve prove d'addio. There is a kind of way of talking to each other, or they will try to talk to each other, Juventus management and Bonucci, to ask him, what are your future plans? Because if we are looking at our plans for the present, well, unfortunately, with your injuries, with your recent performances that were absolutely not top level, well, you became a fifth center defender, behind Bremer at the moment, even behind Danilo, which is not even his role, behind Gatti, and let's see, maybe even behind a new center defender that can come from the market. So Bonucci will really need to think about it. He said, I need to prove myself that I can still play at high level, and that's why he was really happy to be called up by Mancini to play with the national team. We all know what happened in that first game against Spain, where he committed that big mistake. Then you can't judge the career or the point of a single player on a single mistake, but it's not the single mistake if you are looking at the last two seasons. So Bonucci will really need to think about it. Of course, he has 6 million euro net, that's 12 million euro gross for Juventus on terms of salary. If they can find an agreement to stop with Leonardo Bonucci, they could potentially even participate with a kind of compensation so that he's not losing all his salary and he can go towards maybe other leagues that are a bit less pressure. For example, MLS, Saudi Arabia, or whatever. I don't believe he will go to Saudi Arabia. But anyway, not only Bonucci can leave, but also other players, and we will come back on that. One of them is Gleison Bremer. Not that he's on the market, but of course, if a big offer comes for the Brazilian defenders, they can potentially think about it for a simple reason. In a four-man defense, even if it's not bad, because let's not exaggerate, it's probably not his favorite role or the role that he's performing the best at. And every road is bringing us toward a four-man defense. In case Gleison Bremer could leave, well, there is already a name that is potentially there as the first one on the top list, is Pau Torres, also reinforced by the fact that Bayern Munich is going all in for Kim Min-jae from Napoli. If Bayern Munich is able to rob Kim Min-jae, because he has a clause so they can even take him for 60 million euro, well, Pau Torres is not anymore an objective for Bayern and could really be a serious candidate for the Bianconeri. So let's think about the rebuild. There is still Huijsen that is there. Huijsen, we already spoke about it, has been renewed. If Pau Torres is difficult in any way, maybe Gleison Bremer staying, well, Huijsen could potentially be promoted towards the season, maybe mid-season, to be part of that first team. Anyway, I told you, solidity in defense is important for Max Allegri. Whoever will join, they know it, but it is possible that we have a total revolution of the defense, especially if we are speaking more and more about the first objective on the left side, Parisi, and there are some names on the right side, not only Castagne, but even new names that were popped up today, like the name of Boy. Who is Boy? Is a right back from Galatasaray that Juventus is interested in. Not only him, because if you are looking at the center of the defense of Galatasaray, there is a player there, Victor Nelson, Danish player, that could potentially be a new name, fresh new name on the list of Juve. I told you, big movements in defense, big collaboration with Galatasaray. One thing is sure, we will not have Carnesecchi, we will not have other goalkeepers. Will start again with Szczesny, with Perin, and with Pinsoglio. For what reason? Yesterday, in front of microphones, Szczesny he said officially, I have a contract until 2025 and I'm going nowhere. I stay until the end of my contract with Juventus. And that was for goalkeeper and defenders. Now we have to go towards, before deep diving in Galatasaray, about the midfield. There is still an answer that we are waiting for. Rabiot, we already said it. What is the reason for Rabiot? because it avoids you to go on the market spending a lot of money for a midfielder to replace him. So Rabiot could potentially give an answer to Juve before the end of the month. We are just waiting. Juventus is insisting. At the moment, there are some talks with Premier League clubs, but not really something concrete. Maybe Manchester United is ahead of the competition for Rabiot. But there is another player that is linked, yes, to Rabiot, but not 100% sure linked to Rabiot. It is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. We know it. This is the moment. It's now or never. We already spoke about him yesterday during the day. We already spoke about him yesterday during the night. We spoke a lot about Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. What can I add? That Lotito, for the first time, he realized that maybe it's time to sacrifice him, to have some cash money in, because he has one more year of contract. And there are two teams that are interested in the Serbian player, Juventus and Inter. Again, Juventus and Inter. With Inter a bit more advanced on the talks with Fratesi, with Juventus a bit more advanced on the talks of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, that is not even putting Champions League competition in his order of priority for next season. So attenzione to Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. With Rabiot, without Rabiot, we will discover it. Speaking about that partnership, Juve-Galatasaray, it's not only that Galatasaray want to spend all their money shopping at Juve with the players that we don't want to, but they are talking about deals. Maybe, if they take one or two players from Juve, even maybe three, well, they want to give other players. Some that we are requesting, like Zaniolo, for example, but also some players that we are not requesting. Or maybe that we were requesting 4 years ago, but maybe not today. Well, they are speaking about Icardi. The comeback of Icardi on the front pages. Pay attention, we have to monitor that. But also the comeback on the front pages of Zaniolo. Pay attention, we have to pay attention to that. We have to monitor the situation. Would you say yes if Galatasaray is taking you a Moiskin, an Alexandro, a McKennie, an Arthur, to instead receiving back from them Icardi and Zaniolo? Let me know. What is really strange for me when I'm reading these names, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Icardi, Zaniolo, is that these names, since I have the channel and even before, I always speak about them. Every 6 months when the transfer market session is opening, I'm always talking about these names. These names are not Giovanni Manna names. You know it, the new sporting director of Juve that will receive his contract extension until 2025 because he had one more year. So a lot of trust in Giovanni Manna. With Chiellini, Claudio, and with Tognozzi, they will form a fantastic team, just waiting for Giuntoli. But these names, Icardi, Zaniolo, they are not really Manna names. Looks like they are Paratici names. All the ideas that, like Paredes, like Milik, at a certain moment, after some years, they can be real at Juve. So what are the names of Giovanni Manna? Well, maybe the young players like Casadei, like Weah Jr., two names that are on the page of Gazzetta dello Sport. Because if Pioli is pushing for Thuram, another son of an ex-player, well, Juve is pushing for Casadei and Weah Jr. Timothy Weah. Look, when I'm looking what he's doing at Lille since a few years, is maybe not the most prolific striker, not most prolific offensive player. Why are they speaking about it? Yesterday we spoke about it. Georges Weah, double page in Gazzetta dello Sport, also admitting that he's a Juve fan since that he's a kid and he's always following Juve. He would love that his son is going to Italy, and probably more than a name of Manna, I believe it's a name of Gazzetta dello Sport. Casadei is a name that is coming back. Why? Because we know that Bayern is maybe giving up on Vlahovic. Chelsea is really on the player. They want to save a bit of cash money and inserting players. They proposed us Pulisic, Chalobah, and other players, Loftus-Cheek. Juventus informed about Casadei, maybe for a loan with a possibility to buy at the end of the loan. Look, my questions here are, is it a name because it's an opportunity, or is it a name that is functional to the project? Casadei is fantastic. He will not be a starter of Juve. He played his first season at Reading, that is a championship, that is actually second division in England. Is he the player that we want to invest in, while he's not even our own player? Then if you tell me, Beppe, we sign him permanently, there is an obligation there is a possibility to sign him, why not? If there is no, I don't understand it, because you have already so many midfielders. You have a Pogba that should be back from the beginning of the season. You are putting your bets on a Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. You want to keep Rabiot. You have Fagioli. You have Locatelli. So there are so many names in the midfield, without speaking about Barrenechea, Miretti, Rovella, and so on and so on. Adding a player like that for an opportunity, but not functionality, I believe it wouldn't be a mistake. Like when you are signing a few years ago, in the same summer, Kulusevski and Federico Chiesa. So I would wait a bit on that one. Anyway, that was the video with the fresh news. Again, guys,